Welcome back. Joining us now is Dileep Narayanan from Malabar Group. Dileep, hi, thank you so much for joining in. First of all, your sense on the Indian demand, really, because this looks like, and not just for India, this looks like the first year on record that we're looking at investment demand stronger than jewelry demand.
Hi, Manisha. Thank you so much for inviting me to this forum. And once again, we've spoken about this a couple of times now during the last 2 months. And Indian demand, paradigm shift of at least 20 to 30% of investment demand coming in now is a big move, which I have seen, which we have seen, quite of late. The Diwali season, especially. So a great move towards the investment demands, mainly the coins and the bars. Several factors are driving this: global economic volatility, I would say, geopolitical reasons, tensions, expectations. But apart from that, above that, I would say, is the people's trust towards gold is increasing as we see. The participation is increasing through various forums like ETF, the digital goals and various forums are there through which people can avail these facilities. Interesting is that traditionally price-sensitive buyers who are now chasing quality and long-term value rather than just price dips. That shows a structural maturity in Indian demand, which I've been talking to various people. I can see a real, I repeat this again, the fact that, the belief on gold as a safe haven is increasingly, adding this demand.
Dileep, how would you talk about the prices from here on? Do you have a forecast to put forth? Because we've seen prices gain up by 53% in this year till time, and the global banks do believe that this is even a gradual increase, but it was going to be an increase from here on too.
Well, if you ask me, my personal view on the same is that with what I speak to the global banks and the refiners and the mining companies, and also the few investors who deal with gold and also with the market study, I feel that the gold, yes, is still on a bull run. Yes, we did see a part of dip coming in at certain levels. It went up to 3,800 levels, but then it's still moving. It's gone back to the bull run again. I think that this time, what I feel is that it will gradually increase, but but definitely if you ask me, with what I can read and what I can understand from the market, it looks gold will definitely go up in future.
Are you putting up a price there? Do you think 5,000 is achievable by next year?
I'm not very sure about that, Manisha, but don't. As I mentioned, it's completely my personal view on this because the markets, various markets speak on various prices. I was recently in LBMA in Kyoto in Japan and met with a lot of foreign banks and suppliers and refiners. They had different views, different structures about the gold price. If you talk about 5,000, if you talk about 4,800 levels as an average for next year, and if you are also talking about 6,000 levels, so to get into one
all right, those are big numbers. Even 4,800 for that matter is an all-time high when you look at the gold prices there. You mentioned you've been to LBMA recently, and that perhaps is the biggest confluence that we see in sense of gold, people meeting from miners to analysts to jewelry companies, etc. What is the kind of conversation that has been happening there? Prices you've already talked about, but when it comes to demand, will investment continue to be top of the rank there? Also the global central bank buying, because that clearly has been a big change in the last 2 or 3 years.
It was an absolute honor for to represent Malabar Gold and Diamonds Limited, and the Indian bullion industry at LBMA Annual Precious Metal Conference in Kyoto this time. LBMA platform brings normally together the global leaders across the value chain, refiners, and bankers, central banks, traders. This year, I had the privilege of being a part of a panel which is called Asian Gold Demand Outlook, where I co-panelists were from China and from Japan, and
Okay.
moderated by the Metal Focus. We had various discussions. Well, India, I spoke about India and, where India continues to remain the heartbeat of global gold demand. And discussions were focused on how policy reforms in India are improving, like CPAR digital transparencies, like IBX, and gradual formalization of bullion ecosystem and things like that.
Okay.
It's very encouraging to see that India is being viewed, not just as a major consumer, but also as an emerging country in bullion, platform. So that was a great opportunity. Well, met with various bullion refiners, met with the overseas banks, the foreign banks, which participate as a suppliers. Yeah, and the trade houses, reinforce the growing trust in India's
In
journey.
India. Okay.
Had this trust towards India's journey in bullion ecosystem.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dileep, for joining in. So as said, that the gold prices seem bullish from here on. Global central bank is another thing. But policy reforms, especially India's space within global markets as a buyer, is something that we seem to be really looking strong.
All right. With that, we'll wrap up on this edition of Halftime Report. Thank you so much, Manisha, for taking us through that conversation. The market's doing well. Business Lunch takes all the market action forward.